Alright, boys. Women are the only problem in the dating world. There's not a man in the world, the entire world. I don't care about the country. I don't care about the status of the country. I don't care. Uh, Women are the only problem in the dating world. Period. That's it. If you want to approach the topic of dating and you want to fix dating, your opening thesis needs to be that women are the problem. That needs to be number one. If you are not willing to engage on the topic with that thesis, you are not interested in solving the dating world. You're not interested, period. Because you're not being honest. Because honestly, women are the only problem in the dating world. And I'm gonna back this up. I'm gonna go into a few things here. I've got a few bullet points, but we're gonna be rambling here, so bear with me. I'm not following a strict script. Number one, women have no idea what they are doing. Ever. In their entire life. But this includes dating. But women really have no idea what they are doing. They don't know how to escalate a relationship. They don't understand the order of events in a relationship. I can't tell you how many women basically want to have a 50-year relationship in about 5 minutes. They don't understand that in order to have all the things that a 50-year plus relationship would actually offer them, requires them to invest in a man for 50 plus years. Because that's been my experience in my entire life, is that women want that 50-year growing old type of experience, but they don't actually want to grow old with a guy. So, again, see point number one, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Okay? And they don't know how to go in order of these things, right? Women want to meet a guy and immediately hit that point. They don't understand the order of events. That first they have to meet the guy, and most of the time it's matching on dating apps, right? Because that's like at least 60%, if not 80% at least, of couples are meeting off of dating apps at this point. The reason I say that is, yeah, you can look at the study and it says something like 60. The reason I say 80 is because the study kind of screws itself over because it includes meeting up as friends as they initially met on the app, but they don't include that in the dating thing. Anyway, it's fucked up. Rehab Room mentioned that at some point. Point is, first you got to meet the man, then you got to vet the man, then you got to do this and then the other thing. You get the idea, right? I'm not going to go into all of that detail right now, but the point is, they don't know how to escalate into a relationship. They don't understand the order of events. They want it now. They just want the relationship now. And part of that is the reason why physical looks are so important, because as you get to know someone, this is a true thing that, not that the black pill neglects this, but it's so uncommon because women don't actually give the time for this. The more time you spend with a person in close proximity, the more you will find them attractive. This goes for both men and women. And the reason for that is it's obvious, right? If I'm spending so much time with them, well, then they must be part of my tribe. And if they're part of my tribe, then I should probably go have sex with them, right? Basic human biology here. But the problem is women don't actually give opportunities to men in general to actually allow that to exist. And they don't realize it because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't realize that's how attraction works to some degree. Yes, you can look at a guy and he could be hot, bada bing, bada boom, but that's not realistic how any sort of relationship with humans worked. You know what I mean? There wasn't a time in the world where women would just walk around, see a hot dude, and bada bing, bada boom, it was a relationship time. That's just not how it existed until up to this point, where they could do that. Not that it's successful, mind you, but my point is, when you walked around the village, most people in the village were not very attractive, and even if they were, they're probably taken by other people in the village because it's such a small marketplace. Right? The number one thing we can learn about dating in modern days is that dating doesn't work at a global scale. Because when you have the global scale, you completely throw out of whack the entire marketplace. Because women can just keep trying to buy gold instead of trying to buy the other gems in the market. Anyway, let's move on to the next point here, is that women don't actually consider relationship traits when going for men in the dating world. Again, this kind of goes back to they have no idea what they're doing, but they don't consider relationship traits. They just see hot guy and that's it. That's all they want. Whether he's actually hot or not, for the record, is up to debate because women have their niches and someone is Chad to somebody, right? But obviously there's consistency with that, but again, everyone has their fetishes and itches. But the point is, they don't consider any sort of skill set that a man might have in a relationship, right? I've been in conversations with women over the phone before we would agree to a date or not agree to a date. And the conversation would be like very in depth. We would talk about all kinds of things with regards to gender dynamics and communicate, and we would disagree, but we would navigate that in a way that was healthy. And women don't consider all this. They just think, oh, he disagrees with me, I don't want to be with him. Oh, he's trying to, establish dominance or something. And it's like, yeah, maybe I am trying to establish dominance, but that's because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. See point number one, right? I've also never had a woman vet me. Women don't vet men. They have no idea how to vet men. And that's why they end up with serial killers all the time. And they like that too, by the way, which goes to show that they shouldn't have a choice in the matter. But, we'll get to that. And they don't understand what a man can actually offer. And again, you have to spend time with a guy to establish what it is that he can actually offer you. I know that sounds crazy, but I can't tell you how many women would probably like me if they gave me even 5 minutes of a conversation. But they won't because I don't look attractive enough. Right? But I can tell you, I've had this experience where women initially would not seem very interested in me, but then they would talk to me and they become more interested as they interact with me. Which again, that's a natural human thing. That is a fact of life. That's how that works. Right? Not every woman is going to work that way, obviously. Not every, there's a degree of attraction that needs to exist for sure. But, if she finds me 30% attractive physically, and then I talk to her and do this and then the other thing, and then that will build up into things that she might like, or things that appeals to her. But again, women don't take that step. They just don't. They don't understand that step. They don't want to do that step. To women, it seems, going even on an hour-long date to potentially find someone who will love you forever and who you will love forever is anathema to them. It's sickening to them. They don't want to waste their time. They'd rather scroll on TikTok for an hour than give a man an hour to figure out whether or not he's worth a shit. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy because an hour is not a very long time. It's really not a very long time. Women also fail to understand market values. Now, there's a reason we call it the dating market, and a lot of people like to say, oh, well, dating is not a transaction. It is. It is a transaction. All relationships, man, woman, friendship, family, all relationships are transactional. I'm probably going to make a video on a great book written by Dr. Ryan Taraban called The Value of Others, which is entirely about this entire subject in the context of a relationship between a man and a woman. But the point is, all relationships are transactions. Your relationship with me on YouTube is a transaction. You watch this video assuming that I'm going to provide you some sort of content, whether that be entertainment for you, whether that be information for you. You come to this video for that. I offer to you, you watch the video, you like and subscribe. That's the freaking transaction. Everything is a transaction. You don't have to like it. I don't say you have to like it. I think you should. I think you should understand that that's just the nature of the world. I don't make the rules, but everything is a transaction, right? I have a great friend who I would consider my brother. And me and him both understand our relationship is still transactional. But the point that we always make to each other is that the transaction is so seamless that we don't actually have to discuss it because we get along so well that the things that we want from each other are just natural. You don't have to establish anything. We've never once talked about, outside of like an intellectual discussion, we've never once talked about, hey, I need this from you, and hey, I want that from you. Like, and I'm going to give this to you. We don't do that because it's just so natural, and that's why we have such a strong bond because of that. You could have that kind of thing with a woman. Again, see the other points that I've made in this video where women don't actually allow that to take place. You can't know what someone is offering you until you sit at the negotiation table. And for the record, when I say negotiation table, it's not like you have to sit there and hash out all this and that and the other thing. If you're doing that, it's not working, right? One of the biggest points is that you don't need to talk about the relationship in order for the relationship to function. If you do need to talk about the relationship, that relationship is over. That's been my experience, right? If you need to talk about it, talking is overrated. Talking doesn't solve problems. If someone's not giving you what they want, or what you want, then move on. You know, talking past the point of giving them the information, there is no compromise. Compromise is a disgusting word. I don't think it fits in the role of relationships at all. Maybe I'll dive into that some other time. I want to stick to this topic because the problem with dating topics, as you may be aware, is that they branch into so many other things, and it's just so difficult to be inclusive in. But let's get back on this topic of how women are the only problem in the dating world. Women fail to understand market value. They don't know what men want. They don't know what they want. And they often bring debt into a relationship and don't understand that if they're going to bring debt into a relationship in the form of kids from other men, loans from college or outside or whatever, and lack of essentials, like, for example, in my previous relationship, she didn't have a car. How are we going to go out and do things? How is she going to get to me? Well, I drive. Or sometimes she would do Uber sometimes, but we would always meet in the middle, and I would always drive her at some point in the date anyway. And the point is, like, if I'm doing that, right, that's a debt you're bringing into the relationship that I'm accepting. And the only real response to that is, thank you, daddy. That's it. That's the only real response to that. There's no argument. There's no negotiating this, right? There's no, if I'm accepting your debt, which men always have to accept women's debt. Always. Right? Now, obviously, you could just not date the woman, but what I'm saying is, pretty much what I'm saying is, I think all women bring debt into a relationship. It's very rare for me to find a woman that doesn't have some kind of debt. And it's very, I don't date men, but I know for myself, I bring no debt into a relationship. Right? I have a home. I own it. I bought it in cash. I have a car. I own it. I bought it in cash. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not a rich guy, right? I live very simply. But the point that I'm making... Sorry, there's a bug bothering me. The point that I'm making is that I don't bring debt into a relationship. And obviously from this video, you probably have gathered that I bring a lot of skill set. I've literally done research into relationships. I've literally read books about relationships. Multiple books. On the subject of human relationships, specifically between a man and a woman, but also in general. I bring so much value, and yet I'm still willing to accept some debt from women. I'm not willing to accept some debt, but I am willing to accept other kinds of debt, right? But the point is, when I match with a woman, right, and she has the opportunity to date me, women don't get to know me enough to understand all the things that I bring. But if they do learn even a little bit, like I own my own place and I have this and I have that, they don't factor in the fact that they have this debt, right? Like if to me, debt would include things like tattoos and piercings and things like that, right? I'm willing to tolerate some of that. Like I won't tolerate septum piercings. If you have a septum piercing, you're not going to get with me, right? But women don't acknowledge that that's a debt. They just don't. They actively make themselves worse, and then they think that somehow makes their market value increase. It does not. It does not. I can't tell you how difficult it is to find a woman that wears jeans and a t-shirt on a dating app nowadays. I can't tell you how difficult it is. It's probably 1 out of 20 women that just wear jeans and a t-shirt. Never mind anything like tattoos and anything like that. Most women have shitty fucking tattoos. But anyway, we're getting off the topic here a little bit, right? But they fail to understand market value, and if you fail to understand market value, how are you going to succeed in the market? Right? You need to know what a dollar is worth when you go into the store. Otherwise, how are you going to know what you can afford? And finally, to cap this all off, I say finally, but we might be rambling for a little bit longer. I want to establish why men are not the problem in the dating world, and why women are the only problem in the dating world, right? Because we can't talk about one without the other. So why are men not the problem? Number one. Men don't get to decide whether they go on a date or not. Okay? If I want a date tonight, there's nothing I can do to make that happen. There's no guaranteed success that I'm going to have going up to every single... I could go up to every single woman in a 50-mile radius. I could drive up to every single woman in a 50-mile radius, ask for a date, and not get anything. I don't get to decide if I go on a date. I don't. any woman, whether she believes it or not, could ask probably 5 men, just 5, or less, and she might very well get a date out of all 5 of those guys. All 5 of those guys would probably agree to a date. She would have 100% success rate. It's always fascinating to me when you hear stories of women that are like, oh my god, I went up to him and I said hi and I asked him out and he said yes. Wow, bitch. Did you just fucking wake up yesterday? Like, I swear to God, it blows my fucking mind how... Again, see point number 1, women have no idea what they are doing. Now, you could argue maybe Chad gets to go on a date whenever he wants. But first of all, I think that's not true. I think Chad gets rejected sometimes as well. And Chad doesn't really factor into the problems of dating, which is really what we're talking about here, because he's such a small blip on the map anyway that he's kind of irrelevant. He's an anomaly, right? He's not a rule. Now, the second fact here is that we've been telling men what to do, how to do, and when to do for decades, and this has not improved the dating situation at all, and this is not because of a failure of men, but because nothing men do matter. Nothing a man does matters. See point number 1 that I made here, which is men don't get to decide to go on dates, right? So if I don't get a say in it, if I don't have power over it, how can I be responsible for it? Men don't have power in the dating market, so they're not responsible for it. It's another big factor. And it's the wrong approach to blame men for anything in dating because, again, men don't get to decide to go on dates. Men don't get to decide to be in a relationship. Men don't get to decide to have sex outside of illegally acquiring it. And men are not the deciding factor in the equation of the dating market. The dating market is designed and created by women, whether they realize it or not, which they don't, because, again, see point number 1 that I opened with, they have no idea what they're doing. Nobody will listen to men. Men have no authority in dating past their girlfriend, and even then, that's assuming that she is submissive, and even then, men only really hold power over women that women allow them to have. Men have no real significant power or force that they can use in a relationship or in any sort of dating dynamic besides walking away, which invalidates the nature of dating anyway and invalidates the relationship anyway. I'm not saying that's not a power that they have. They do have that power, but that removes them from the equation. So that's it. If your only solution to a math problem is to remove the equation, then you're not the solution to the math problem. You see? Anyway, a final bit I wanted to add on here that I wrote down was that women would do more good for dating, getting with a man, than making YouTube videos giving men so-called dating advice. So to all the women out there, assuming that you're even watching this video, which you're probably not, to all the women out there that offer dating advice online, you are part of the problem, ultimately. The only thing you should be doing is sucking a man's dick. You would do way more for the world of dating for men if you just sucked a man's dick. And I'm not even saying casually suck a man's dick. Find a great guy, suck his dick. You would do more for the dating world that way than any fucking video you make. Because, see point number 1, you have no idea what you're doing.